If you are a Rebel owner or a shorter rider, and that's why you got the Rebel 1100, and now you're looking to upgrade to something a little bit more comfortable, this is one of the bikes that you should definitely consider. This is the BMW F750GS, and we'll talk about all the details.
Bags are packed, I'm ready to go. Map locked in, I already know. Back roads only taking it slow. That's the way I choose to go. Yeah.
Before talking about the bike, let me tell you about me as a rider. I'm 5'7", 160 pounds, so relatively short. I have 29-inch inseam, 29-30, I'm not really sure. And I'm a Rebel 1100 DCT owner for the past 5 years, and I have 40,000 miles on it. So naturally, one is curious to see what's next. Is there something better that's out there? Hence why we're looking at this bike and evaluating this bike. I've had it now for 3 days, and I've put it through its paces. The one thing I want to point out, first and foremost, the reason why this attracted me, this is the BMW, this is a 2019 BMW F750GS. So these are actually a little bit lower than the 850 from back then, which is now 850 and a 900. What's different and unique about this is the fact that, as you can see over here, it has an aftermarket seat. It's made by Sargent. It is the lower version. In addition to that, this has a lowered suspension, but the cool feature is that it retained the electronic suspension. The way that that was accomplished is by changing the actual spring in the rear shock, as you can see right there, the red one, and the springs in the forks as well. So let me show you what it looks like with me on the bike and with my feet on the ground. Lift it up and check this out. 2 feet flat on the ground. Yeah, so I've been stuck in this stop and go traffic for the past 20 minutes or so, and I can't tell you how much of a difference it makes to have both feet flat on the ground, man. Yeah, definitely a huge difference. It just makes things so much easier, so much more confidence inspiring. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this bike. I recently posted a video about the NT 1100. I had it for a few days and I put it through its paces. Absolutely amazing bike. You know, in terms of the comfort, the DCT, Honda reliability and what have you. But that bike was a little bit too tall for me. I'm sorry. I can't keep a straight face. So I've never had the opportunity to ride an adventure bike that was lowered for a short person, and hence why when I found this, I decided to rent it for a few days so that I can try it out to see, is this something that is a viable option for me to upgrade to coming from the Rebel 1100. The changes that the owner made to make this bike work, for a shorter rider that is she added these rocks risers to bring the bars further back, which allows you to sit straight up and down. I'll show some side shots so that you guys can see. I ride perfectly straight up and down. In addition to that, she changed the springs over here. It comes with a kit. I'll leave a link for it below, as well as changing the spring of the shock over here as well. So it's a little bit shorter and it brings the whole bike down. As you can see, it still retains the electronic suspension and it works incredibly well. The other thing was she changed the seat. This is the lower seat from Sargent. Absolutely incredible. I cannot tell you how comfortable this thing is. It is brilliant. And in addition to that, there are these highway pegs. One of the things that you have to take note of is with a lower seat profile, what it does is it reduces this distance between the seat or your butt and the foot peg. And as a result, this angle becomes a little bit more aggressive, right? So you feel kind of tight over here a little bit, okay? So it's not the same on the Rebel. The Rebel, you're stretched out a little bit more. and the NT as well is not as aggressive. What's cool is that you can remedy that, right, by putting highway pegs as this owner did, okay? So you can extend your legs this way. And what's also cool about this seat in particular, which is the Sergeant, is the fact that you can push back on it just like this, and then this shelf over here, it's almost like a backrest. It's extremely comfortable, you guys. So definitely, if you are considering this particular bike and are worried about the comfort on long distance touring and highway and what have you, don't even think about it. Don't hesitate, just go for it, man. This is an amazing bike. While we're on the subject of the suspension, I captured some video of me going over some heavy bumps so that you guys can see how the suspension and the bike handles it. All right, this is a good test to see how the suspension and the bike does over these railroad tracks, okay? Whoa, this is rough. Wow, wow, this is awesome. Okay, there's no way in hell that the Rebel would have been able to handle that at that speed. Yeah. So very, very impressive once again. As you saw, incredibly impressive in terms of the suspension, how great they work at absorbing the bumps, smaller bumps, bigger bumps, and the electronic suspension settings are incredible. Absolutely blown away by the suspension on this bike. So let's go out on the highway so that we can see what the bike does and feels like on the highway. Okay, so let's try it out on the highway to see how it does. Mind you, this has a quick shifter. Oh yeah, beautiful acceleration, silky smooth, and this has self-canceling turn signals. Let's try it out. Yep, it worked. We'll get past this car and then we'll try it out on the other side. Yep, over the bumps, you don't feel anything. It's like a magic carpet, to be honest with you. Wind protection on the legs is pretty good. You can see how the jeans are not flopping around on my legs. On my torso also, it's excellent. The helmet is good. This is an aftermarket screen. As you saw, the highway performance is very impressive. Not as impressive as the NT, I have to admit, especially when it comes to wind protection, okay? Especially from the front. The legs, this does great, but on the torso and what have you, maybe it's because it's a different screen. I'm not entirely sure, but I felt a lot better on the NT 1100, okay? So let me show you what it's like when you take it in curvy roads and having a little bit of fun. Okay, we're up in the mountains. Let's see how the bike does in these conditions, okay? I've set the suspension to dynamic. I have also the driving mode is set to dynamic, okay? So we are in second gear right now. Oh, this bike feels freaking awesome. The tires are very impressive as well. Quick shifter. We gotta watch our speed over here. There's always cops in this area. This is a reducing radius. Wow, wow. This bike feels incredible in the corners. For a tall bike like this, it handles amazingly well. I am so impressed. I hate to say it, it actually handles a little bit better than the NT. See how you downshift with the quick shifter? Change of direction, stability, lean angle, the feel, the feedback, very, very impressive, very impressive. I really want to push it here, but I actually got a ticket over here in the past.
Yeah, there it is. I'm riding high through the mountain air. Something in me said through the valleys wide and the winding road. I'm feeling more than I can hold. I don't ride just to get away. I ride for what it gives me back each day. Through the sun, through the blue. Every mile feels like truth.
Just look at the stability, man. Very, very, very impressive. As you could probably tell in the video, I was having an absolutely amazing time. I am so impressed with the handling of this motorcycle. Absolutely blown away that an adventure bike as tall as this can perform like this. And these tires are not 100%, for the road. These are maybe 80-20, 70-30, I'm not entirely sure. They do buzz a little bit, don't get me wrong, but the grip are incredible. These are the Michelin Anarchy Adventure, I think, or something like that. Excellent, absolutely amazing. If I had a bike like this, I would get exactly the same tires as these. Now, since we're up here in the front, I have to mention that the front brakes, incredible. Okay, you guys, this is absolutely impressive braking power for this bike. Now, the owner did change the brake lines to steel braided lines. However, the stopping power is incredibly impressive, I have to admit. Dare I say, even more impressive than the NT. You guys remember I love the NT's brakes, but these I think might be a little bit better. In terms of the power, this bike has 80-ish, 80, 87, I think, something like that horsepower, so it's very similar to the Rebel. The difference is that this is a manual, but it has a quick shifter, both up and down, and it works very, very well. I'm really, really impressed with it. The clutch is okay, a little bit on the stiffer side than I would like, but still works like a charm. The power, it's a smooth delivery. You don't feel, a huge dump in horsepower, if you know what I mean. And the engine is a little bit revvy, but overall, amazing engine so far. This bike has 20,000 miles on it without any problems whatsoever. In terms of the cockpit, it's actually fantastic, and it has a keyless ignition system, which is amazing. I love it. First time that I've ever used one. You just leave the key in your pocket, one button over here, you turn it on. The dash is great, to be honest with you. And this emblem right here, the BMW, it's so good to look at, as well as the gas cap. You don't need a key to access it, right? You just turn it off and you flip this up and it pops up, okay? Over here, you're able to control your suspension, you're able to control the menu. It does have self-canceling turn signals, and it is an intelligent one, meaning it's actually better than the NTs that I reviewed recently, okay? So at higher speeds, if you're merging, let's say 70 miles an hour, and you're merging from the right lane to the left lane, you engage it, it signals for about 5 or 7 times, and then it turns off automatically. So yeah, awesome, amazing system. Cruise control is right over here. I don't like it as much as the one that's on the Rebel is right over here. This one's easier to use versus this because it's a little annoying, at least, but you get used to it, you know what I mean? At least for me, it was. You can also change your modes over here, and you can start it up just like this. In terms of luggage, there's plenty of options out there, but the BMW bags are absolutely amazing. I love them, to be honest with you. In my opinion, they work better than the ones on the NT, and here's one of the cool features, okay? So remember, on the NT, you can't open the bags unless you have the key in and you turn it. You cannot basically leave it unlocked to access it throughout the day, right? In this case, no, you don't need a key to get in and out of, but you can lock it. And look how easy it is, right? Down, press this button, it opens up, excuse the mess. And the best feature is, do you see this bar over here? Let's say you need more storage, just do this. Absolutely brilliant system, look, and it makes it a lot larger. So yes, in my opinion, if I was to have this bike, I would get the BMW bags because of this awesome feature, and it fits perfectly there. And in my opinion, even though they don't look as good as the ones on the NT, but these are definitely better in my opinion. Okay, so let's get on the bike so that we can talk about my final thoughts. Okay, so let's talk about who this bike is for, okay? This is a bike that somebody like me could be attracted to. Okay, so who am I? Basically, I'm a short person, right? In a nutshell, that's what it means, right? I'm looking for comfort, and I've been intimidated by adventure bikes because they are so tall. And you know, my whole riding career, I've been riding enduro sport, I've been doing motocross. All my whole life I've been short and riding tall bikes, and I've always dropped them. So, you know, getting older, I'm done with that, you know what I mean? So hence why the Rebel is so attractive to me. And I've had it now for 5 years. I have 40,000 miles on it with zero issues, right? Absolutely, you know, completely reliable, no issues whatsoever, which is extremely impressive. And that's why I'm loyal to Honda, and I have not been able to find a replacement until this comes along, right? So is this bike as reliable as the Honda? I don't know. I don't have enough data, okay? But what I do know is that this bike has 20,000 miles on it, and it has, I think, 2 owners, right? And there are zero issues with it. I've looked and researched. I've seen a couple of issues here and there. I think one was like an oil leak from, you know, the half moon where the joints are, where the rubber seal is, which is typical. We have it on the Rebel, right? That doesn't concern me. But it seems like this can go on forever, which is exactly what I'm looking for, with one issue. The problem is the maintenance cost and the complexity of it, right? Because this is a BMW, you have to take it to an authorized dealer, you have to actually have a special computer to be able to change the oil and do what. There are workarounds, there are videos online, but it just adds more complexity to it, you know, and that's not what I'm looking for. If I'm touring, I don't want to have to worry about the bike going into limp mode. Another thing that people have expressed concerns about or shared their experience is that the electronics, sometimes things can go wrong with it, which it happens, right, on any other bike. Is it enough to deter me? I don't know, to be honest with you, but I can tell you this bike is a hell of a lot of fun. And you guys saw the footage from the twisties. I really enjoyed it. The comfort is there. The low seat height is there. The only thing that I don't like so far is the brake pedal, okay? So you guys can see I have to actually reach in to engage it, and it's a little bit low. It's a little bit annoying, I have to admit, but you know, I'm sure there's a workaround. There's 1,000,001 people that sell aftermarket parts for the F750 and 850 as well. Now, another point to mention, the value. This has tremendous value for the price. I'm not gonna lie, you guys. If you do your research, you'll see the electronics that's in here, the electronic suspension. You can get a fully set up bike with all the bells and whistles, bags included and what have you, with less than 1,000 miles on it. I've seen them going for $8,000 on Facebook Marketplace. An owner, an older gentleman, let's say, who got it, wanted to get into riding and the adventure riding, and then maybe circumstances, whether be it health issues or family issues, they don't allow for that person to keep the bike, and they decide to part ways with it. And those are some great, incredible deals. This bike in particular, the owner was telling me, she was able to get it for $10,000 a few years ago. This is a 2019 model, right? So yes, there's a lot going for it, with one issue that I am having a lot of difficulty getting over, and that is the DCT. If BMW was to introduce their automatic transmission, excuse me, on this bike, this would probably be the highest on the list. I'm not gonna lie. The weight is manageable, the height is manageable, the comfort is there, the fun factor is there, the performance is there, the reliability is there, the value is there, okay? So it's hard to say no to something that is so good, not just on paper, but in reality. And I'm sure a lot of GS owners out there, and please guys, for the GS owners that are there, please share your experiences with us. You know, we're looking into these bikes and we're interested in it, but we just don't know enough about it. So we'd really appreciate your feedback. Anyway, yes, am I going to switch to get this bike? Not at the moment. I'm going to keep my Rebel 1100 because it's very difficult to find any bike that's going to match that total package, okay? The total package, right? It has flaws, it has this, it has that, but the total package, I haven't been able to find one yet. I'll continue my search, right? And I'll bring you guys along with me so that you can experience it together, okay? Anyway, I hope that you guys found this helpful. Have an absolutely amazing day.